Hey, Nova friends, the spring market has ended. The summer market is beginning, and I want to share with you the May 2024 housing market update. So in this video, we're going to talk about what's going on in the current real estate market compared to this time last year, what's going to happen this coming summer in the real estate market, and potentially how's that going to affect the fall of 2024. And if you stick around to the very, very end, you're going to learn about my second pro tip on how to win multiple offers as a buyer. And of course, if you find value in this video, smash that like, hit the subscribe so that you don't miss any of this content. Well, as always, let's begin looking at the stats here in the central Northern Virginia. What's going on in the real estate market? Currently, here we have availability. This is inventory. Last month in March, we had 1,188 homes on the market. At the moment, we have 1,225 homes on the market. That's a 3% increase, which is good. A lot of times you would think maybe we would have more homes on the market at this time versus the March timeframe. That said, I think that's a little bit of seasonality. And when it comes to under contracts, these are homes that are pending. They have a contract; they're just waiting to close. Last year at this time, or last month at this time, we had 1,224. Currently, we have 1,424. That's big news. We have 14% more homes under contract right now than we did at this time last month. Now, the reality is, you think about what was going on in March of 2024. That was all of the homes. That was all the buyers that put offers on homes in February. They were closing in March. Of course, we now see more closings that happened in April because more buyers came out in the month of March. So seasonality, we're 14% up month over month. Sold units were also up, which is encouraging. Last month, I don't know if you remember, we were actually down 9% month over month. And so this month, it definitely shows here in our area, we have a lot of PCSing, a lot of military moving in. There's just been movement. And so we have 16% more closings in the last 30 days than we did the previous month. So that just kind of quickly just shows we're tracking to have a very solid current market. Months of inventory were the exact same. So we're at 1.3 months of inventory. That's what we were last month. That's what we are right now. So we're going into the summer market with the similar amount of inventory, which is still low. Remember, a seller's market is technically anything from 1 to 3 months of inventory, and we're at 1.3. Days on market, homes did sell a little bit quicker this last month than the previous month. So the previous month, we were at 26 days, average days on the market. This month, they're at 22 days, average days on the market. Just means homes were going a little bit quicker. And I'm going to talk a little bit about price differences here in a moment that I found actually very helpful as I'm monitoring the market, as I'm selling houses in the market. List to close price also did not change drastically. List to close price here last month was 100.8%, and currently it's 100.4%. Okay. So homes are still on average, if it's a priced well and the home is in average condition, it should be selling for about 0.4% more than what you're listing it as. Now, the big news for April really has been a lot about one nationally. You'll hear if you've been following, you're tracking that nationally. They're talking about how there's 35% more inventory on the market year over year, so versus this time last year, and that is true. And one of the realities is on our local market, we have not seen the effect of inventory going up 35% uniquely, because we tend to trail the national averages, meaning we have a lot of military bases in the area, a lot of military move in this time frame, and so because of that, that can skew our numbers a little bit versus nationally, because a lot of those areas don't necessarily have as much of the transient community that we have. So we often trail or lag some of those numbers. But I think what we're seeing is if nationally 35% more inventory is coming on the market, we are heading in that direction. And I think where I uniquely see it right now is in the higher price point homes in our market. Just look at these stats. Average close price, okay? Follow the logic here with me, okay? The average close price right now in our area is $600. Okay, the average sales price. Though the average sales price of active inventory, so homes that have not gone under contract yet, is $825,000. Think about that. So the average close price is 612. The average with what's currently on the market is 825. That tells you, like, whoa, the average price point of what's available is higher than what is closing. That means those homes are staying on the market longer. And they are. The average days on the market, if you remember, I just told you, it was 22 days this last month. Though, for everything that was over the 800,000 price point, average days in the market was 38 days. That means we're almost double the amount of time it takes for a home to actually sell when it's higher on the market. Now, when you look at these two price brackets, because this is probably the biggest difference where I see with homes that I've been selling, homes that are in the average price point right now, as long as they're priced well and they show well and they're marketed well, those are still moving. The higher price points are just taking longer to move. And we see that also with the showings and just the activity, which tells us how many buyers are in the higher price point markets. Right now, anything kind of from 0 to 800,000, the average amount of showings is 5.5 showings a week. That's just based upon the MLS. Average contracts is one contract for every 12 showings in that price point. So there's still showings. I don't know, maybe that's low to you, though 5.5 on average in that price point. But when you start looking at everything over that 825 price point in our area, we're actually now seeing an average of 3.3 showings per week. Now, this is average. You can't actually have 0.3 showings. You know that. Though 3 showings per week. And it takes about 8 showings before a contract. So the activity is drastically different with the higher price points. And I believe one of the primary reasons that is because of the interest rates. Now, why that is because, well, if you've been tracking, the interest rates have been going up. And that's been super disappointing for people. Here in April, April 1, the interest rate was 7%. And that was a little higher because it was in the sixes. But April 30th, the very end of the month, the interest rates were tracking at 7.5%. That was a big jump. 0.5% changes a buyer's buying power by 5%. And so what happens is a lot of the buyers that maybe would have been looking at the higher price points are being affected uniquely with the interest rates. And so that buyer demand is changing uniquely. And that's really what we're seeing right now. So I think how that's going to affect our summer is, one, the Feds are not anticipating, or at least majority of the economists, 70% of them actually state that they believe now the Fed's first rate cut is not going to be until September of 2024. If that is the case, I think we're going to see a very similar summer that we have seen towards the end of this spring. So the beginning of the spring, low inventory, lower interest rates, a lot of buyers, multiple offers, homes even higher price points selling. Well, end of the spring kind of ended with a little bit of a sluggish market for higher price points. Still, a lot of the average price point homes moving at a good pace. Of course, average listed close price, that we're still closing a little bit above. So we're not seeing any kind of market decline. Though the changes, I think we're going to start seeing just throughout the summer. It's going to be a little bit of a sluggish summer. We're not going to be, potentially having 25 showings per house as long as inventory kind of stays the same. Though I believe a lot of sellers and buyers are waiting for that interest rate cut, which we're not going to see potentially until the fall. And so what that means is, well, we may have a little slower than usual summer coming up, though we may also have a busier fall than normal coming up. And so a lot of people are taking that in consideration. So, all in all, as you are determining potentially what you're going to do if you're looking to buy or sell, this is a time you want to consult with your local real estate agent to be able to understand your local market, to be able to dictate when is the best time to sell or buy that accomplishes your goals. All right, let's talk about my second strategy to help buyers win in multiple offer situations. And so one of these is an important one. Last time we talked about a love letter. This time we're talking about the importance of using a local lender versus, I would say, a 1-800 number lender. Now, a local lender is important when you are having a multiple offer scenario because if you're a buyer, you have to kind of put yourself in the listing agent's shoes. And that's what a lot of buyers don't realize is when a listing agent receives multiple offers on their listings, they're going to have, let's say 4 or 5 offers. They're going to look through them. They're going to put them in a spreadsheet and it'll have all of the terms, the lender, the title company, the earnest money deposit, all the terms, right, that they're going to truly compare from offer to offer. Now, usually what happens is there's a top two, maybe a top three that are very similar in terms. And that's price point, closing cost assistance, EMD, the kind of financing. A lot of these things are similar often in the top 2 or 3. So how do you win in that moment? If you are in the top two and the prices are the same and the terms are the same, how do you win? Well, local lender. Okay. I'm serious. This is important because the listing agent is going to say, okay, terms are the same. These are great for the seller, but which lender is going to actually get this to close? If they know the lender and they've had prior experience with them actually closing loans, that goes a long way. If they have prior experience or have heard of this local lender that hits deadlines, that goes a long way and simply communication. Many 1-800 number lenders simply they work bank hours. They don't work during the evening or the weekend. You need to get a pre-approval letter over the weekend. You can't reach them. You need the listing agent to, or I'm sorry, you need the lender to call the listing agent. If you're putting an offer in, you can't get a hold of them. And so communication might be challenging. Service is a little bit less. But again, if you want to win the deal, having a local lender with solid credibility, they can talk to the listing agent in behalf of you as the buyer goes a long way. So consider having a local lender if you know you are going to be entering a multiple offer scenario. Well, I hope you have an amazing May, and I'll catch you on this market update in June. God bless.